You know that feeling, right? When you get something new that you're excited about, but almost immediately you start worrying about it. The very things that bring us a flash of pleasure can so easily become a source of stress. Well, this is a universal human puzzle, and it turns out there's an ancient solution. Today, we're going to dive into a psychological map, drawn from the Pali scriptures, that shows us a way to get from that tangled state of anxious attachment to a place of real, stable joy.
So where does this whole cycle of pleasure and anxiety even begin? I mean, to find the way out, we first have to really understand where we're starting from. And these ancient texts, they have a surprisingly specific word for this all-too-common human experience.
The word is alayarama, and you can think of it as delighting in attachment. It's that initial thrill we get from, well, anything we cling to. A new phone, a new relationship, a bunch of likes on social media. It's great in the moment, for sure, but it's also what sets us up for a fall. The texts point out that this is kind of our default setting, but it's a tricky one because that very delight becomes the source of our suffering when things change, as they always do.
But here's the really brilliant part. These ancient thinkers weren't just pointing out the problem. They were laying out a clear, step-by-step path to get out of it, and it completely flips the script on how we usually think about finding happiness. It doesn't start with chasing more things to delight in, but with clearing out the mental junk that's blocking the joy that's already there.
And this is where the path gets really interesting. It doesn't start with trying to force yourself to be happy. It begins with a kind of mental decluttering. The texts talk about these 5 specific hindrances, things like craving, ill will, restlessness, doubt, that are constantly clouding our minds. And the incredible insight here is that when we learn to just let go of them, joy or pamojam doesn't need to be manufactured. It just arises, all on its own, like the sun appearing from behind the clouds.
And that first spark of joy, that's just the beginning. It's like tipping over the first domino in this amazing chain reaction. That initial feeling of ease sets off this beautiful cascade of positive mental states, each one leading naturally and gently to the next, guiding the mind toward a profound state of calm and focus.
Okay, let's walk through this chain, because it's pretty cool. It all starts with pamojam, that simple, natural joy we just talked about. This feeling then blossoms into piti, which is more like a vibrant, energetic rapture, a deep inner thrill. Now, when your mind is filled with that kind of energy, your body just naturally relaxes. That's step 3. Kayo pasampati. The body becomes tranquil. And when your body is calm, you experience sukham, a deep, steady happiness, a state of blissful ease. And what happens to a mind that's happy and at ease? It becomes focused. That's the final step. Chittam samadhyati. The mind becomes concentrated. You see how each step just flows right into the next? It's a completely organic process.
So, this chain reaction sounds amazing, right? But it brings up a big question. How do we actually do it? How do we let go of those hindrances to get the first domino to fall? Well, the texts don't just leave us hanging. They give us a very practical toolkit, a set of 4 mental practices called the Brahma Viharas, or the 4 immeasurable minds.
Think of these like going to the gym for your mind. They aren't just nice ideas, they're qualities you can actively train and develop. The whole point is to cultivate these positive states so consistently that they become your new normal, radiating out from you and totally changing how you experience the world.
First up, and probably the most famous, is metta. It's often called loving kindness, but I really like thinking of it as a radical, boundless friendship. It's the simple, genuine wish for everyone to be happy and well. And I mean everyone. Your best friend, the stranger on the bus, even the person who really gets on your nerves. And most importantly, it starts by directing that same friendly goodwill toward yourself. Next is karuna, or compassion. The texts describe this as the trembling of the heart when it sees suffering. This isn't about pity, looking down from a distance. It's that raw, empathetic response that makes you want to reach out and help, to do something, anything, to ease another's pain. It's a really active, engaged state of heart. Then we have muditā, or sympathetic joy, and honestly, this one is a total game changer. It's the ability to feel real, genuine happiness for someone else's good fortune. You know that feeling when your friend gets that promotion they wanted and you feel just as excited as they do? That's muditā. It is the perfect antidote to envy, and it basically unlocks an unlimited source of joy for you. And finally, there's upekkha, or equanimity. Now this one can be a little tricky because people sometimes mistake it for indifference. But it's not about not caring at all.
It's actually about caring deeply, but with wisdom and balance. It's like being the calm, steady center of a storm. Praise and blame, success and failure, they can all be swirling around you, but you remain unshaken, able to respond to whatever comes your way with clarity.
And the texts are incredibly direct about how this stuff works. These aren't just abstract virtues, they are targeted tools for changing your mind. I mean, just look at this quote. When sympathetic joy, muditā, is developed, discontent, arati, is overcome. It's a straight-up formula. If you feel this, practice that. It's so practical.
So, what's the end game here? What happens when you actually put all these pieces together? You let go of the hindrances, you cultivate these 4 immeasurable minds, and you follow that chain of tranquility all the way to the end. What does the mind like that even feel like?
The texts have a beautiful phrase for it. Nisaranam hetam aratya. This means, this is the escape from discontent. And that right there is the ultimate promise of this whole path. It's not about reaching some far-off mystical state. It's about finding a practical, achievable way to free ourselves from that chronic, low-level feeling of dissatisfaction that so many of us live with. It's about finding our way back to our own natural state of joy. This ancient path is really a profound gift. It's a roadmap for the mind that's been tested for thousands of years, and it's just as relevant now as it ever was. It reminds us that joy isn't something we need to go out and find. It's a treasure that's already inside us, just waiting to be uncovered. So the only question left is, which of these tools will you pick up to start digging?